Okay, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me today. We appreciate your being here. Today, I'm going to be talking about parts 3 and 4 of the four pillar system. And I'm going to introduce you to what omni-channel marketing is. So I want to jump right in. We're going to get started. We're going to do a quick overview of some of the stuff that we've discussed before. If you have not uh, if you have not, if you were not on the training for parts 1 and 2, which are the postcard training and the about scripting and how to use the postcards and mail outs with scripting, you can view that on the YouTube channel or through the links that Steve provides that he emails out to each of the trainings. There is additional backup for that with documentation and instructions. So if you need that and you can't find it, you can get that through Bay. They're in the company files in Bay. And also, you can just email me and I'll be happy to send them to you as well. There will be handouts for this one as well and instructions. And always know my goal is to make your life easier through efficiency and technology and to increase your lead flow. That is the main goal. The number one goal is to increase leads. Leads fix everything, right? So if you're ready to go, we'll get started. All right. Okay. So this is part 2 and it's labeled the most effective newsletter ever, but this really is part 1 of a 4-part system. So in this section, we're going to talk about the newsletter and we're going to talk about social media as well. In this session, we're going to talk about how an introduction to what omni-channel marketing is. We're going to plan a 12-month messaging sequence. We're going to integrate your message, how to integrate your messaging into the marketing, and how to use a local newsletter the right way, what to post on social media, and how to expand your market presence. So by the end of this training, we're going to have you'll know how to build a 12-month marketing system that you can use to dominate a market area. We're going to write a repeatable message that ingrains your name into every prospect's mind. And we're going to build a foundational base to help grow with your goals and understand omni-channel strategy so that you can own future business, right? So we're not just talking about, and actually, I'm going to go off script here just for a second. Um, if you are chasing the next deal, you will fail, right? You are those agents that are constantly doing this, all right, and they're chasing the buyer, they're chasing the next listing, they're chasing the next paycheck is basically what they're doing. And when we do that, you can't get consistency. This business requires a good foundation, and the foundation for this business is listings. That's what you need is listings. Listings provide consistency. No matter whether the market is up or down, you will always have an income if you have a sufficient inventory. Because when the market's busy, you have listings, you have inventory, you have something to sell. When the market's not so busy, you get more listings. So the more listings you have, the better off you're going to be in the long run. If you're completely chasing the next deal, meaning that, oh, I get locked into one contract and then all my time is devoted just to getting that one contract closed, and you don't have a feed system to your business that makes it possible to keep that lead generation flowing consistently and to have your inventory increase consistently, you're going to have a tough time. And I give this to you from experience. I have tried it all different ways. So I've made all the mistakes for you. You don't need to make the same mistakes. So, like I said, the 4 pillars are doing the postcard, doing the prospecting, doing social media, and doing newsletter. Why do we want to do this? So, by the way, these are graphics I just pulled from a web page that I'm working on. So, and I'll show you where you'll be able to access this going forward. So what an omni-channel listing system is trying to turn local homeowners into a predictable listing pipeline. So I want to review exactly what the goal is here. If you take a bunch of postcards and you just drop 5,000 postcards, you may get 1, 2, or 3 responses. You may get more, depends on the effectiveness of your postcard, the message in your postcard. But if you don't do it consistently and you drop it every month, your response rate, your profit from those drops is going to decrease dramatically. If you drop it once and then you wait 2 months and then you drop it again, and then the next time you wait till 3, 4 months, you drop it again. This is not effective marketing. That's not marketing at all, to be honest. So what you're looking at is trying to develop this consistency within a very small, tight area. So for those of you that maybe are not as familiar in on the internet, in web marketing, online marketing, there is a system called SEO, right? Search engine optimization. And this used to be the power bank, and I quote, used to be the power bank in order to get your website seen, right? In order to get people to visit you, right? It was using certain keywords, phrases, and algorithms to try and get people to try and get your search results up to be on Google, so that you could get to that first 1 or 2 pages. Understand this: if you're not on the first 1 or 2 pages on a Google search, chances are nobody's ever going to see your site, because that's about as far as most people go. They'll go page 1, page 2, and then that's it, right? They're going to click on something in those first 2 pages. The next step, which is what's happening at this moment, is called AEO, right? Or algorithm engine optimization. What is the difference between SEO and AEO? The what Google is now favoring is the algorithm. What is your authority? How much of your information is online? How many people interact with you? How many people are, what is the value of the content that you're providing? Is it localized? That's a key factor right now. Is it localized? And now there's also what's up and coming is AIO, which is AI optimization. So this is for the new searching feature, right? Where right now about 800 million people a day are using AI to do their searches and not using Google. So that means they're using Claude or Gemini or Grok or ChatGPT to find out information that they want about a specific subject or a specific area or a very specific knowledge base. So just so you know, I know a lot of you weren't around them, but when Google came out, right, the whole key with Google was Google didn't have ads, right? They just had a blank page with search. That was it. That was their claim to fame. And that made their site work faster. Within 2 years, Google started placing ads, right? So you could buy ads on Google. And at the time, I think it was about 1 or 2 cents a click, if I remember correctly. And that was probably around 2002, 2003. So they started placing ads. You could buy ads for 2 to 3 cents. Within 5 years from there, all of a sudden, it became extremely expensive to advertise on Google, especially for certain keywords that you wanted to dominate, like real estate or homes for sale. Okay. So now you, instead of 2 or 3 or 4 cents a click, you were paying $3, $4, $8 a click. Right. So the next evolution was Facebook, right? Facebook started advertising, same thing. They started out at about 4 cents a click or 4 cents an impression. And they waited about 2 years after Facebook came out, and then they started doing ads. And then within 5 years after that, it became extremely expensive to run ads on Facebook. So now, with ChatGPT is now in its 3rd year. So that was the intro AI for most people. And Sam Altman, who is the CEO founder of OpenAI, that which owns ChatGPT, has announced that they are going to start testing ads inside of AI. So you're going to see that you see some of that now. Some of you may have like a refrigerator that has one of the screens on it, right? And all of a sudden you see ads on the refrigerator because the refrigerator is looking inside your refrigerator and it's looking at your house and it's saying, gee, what did they use? What do they need? And it's popping ads up, not based on not based on what the print ad would say, but it's popping up ads that are specific to you, things that you need in your house, right? So this is the wave that is coming down the pike, and within the next 2 years, you're going to see this will be the dominant uh, practice is through AI, and Google search may just is well, right, it's already based on AI. It's already running AI to run the searches, but that will improve over time. So the key to being successful in marketing is that hyper target marketing, right? That's what AI is doing. It's hyper targeting you, and it's saying, what do you need? What is it that, how can I get to you and and help you with your problem or your pain or your need or the thing that you want to get, right? Or the information that's important to you, right? So how do I help? How do I get that to you in front of you? And that's what AI is doing now. So this is the same process. And the advantage that we have is that we can be face to face. So we are hyper targeting, just like AI is, in order to reach out to these folks and help them know you as that local authority. So if I take a small area, I can focus my marketing message and my all my reserves, my financial reserves, into a small area and take over an area over a certain period of time. And there's some factors that are involved there we'll talk about, but over a period of time and become the dominant agent. And then I use that area to springboard to the next area. So I would focus maybe, let's just say, for example, I'm focusing on Little Torch Key, right? I'm focusing just in there. I'm looking for 300 to 700 home communities with a turnover rate of 5% minimum. I need a turnover rate, and we'll go into that, a 5% minimum. So I take that, I dominate, takes me maybe 8, 12, 15 months or so to start getting traction in there. Once I have traction in there, then I springboard to the next, and I go to Big Torch Key, right? And then I springboard to Big Pine Key, and then I springboard to Marathon. And we have agents in the company that are doing that right now, right? They started in one area, they built out that area, and then they used it as a springboard to move into larger and wider markets. So this is also high probability targeting. It's because we want to target specific types of owners. And for example, if you were in Key Colony Beach, you could target just waterfront. You could target high-end waterfront. You could target the duplex owners. You could target condo owners. So I can narrow it down even more, which makes it even easier for me to do. And the goal is to get a 20% market share within that neighborhood, because that has a market life value. If we can get a 20% market share within a community, then we have control of the situation. And the market share includes listings and sales, right? So that counts on both sides. So for example, let's just say, keep the math easy, 100 homes. I have a 20% market share. That's 20 transactions, or 20 homes, 20 transactions, excuse me. 20 transactions in that area. So that's on the buy side and sell side. So I maybe did about 10, let's say I did 10 transactions in there. I did 10 on or 10 homes in the area. I did 10 on the list side and 10 on the buy side. And that gives me a 20% market share. With a 20% market share, you can easily springboard to other areas or increase market share within that specific community. So going forward, sorry. So the omni-channel sequence is kind of like surround sound, right? It's a 4-week cadence that leverages the rule of 7-11-4. And what that means is um, experts have found that if in order to really capture someone's trust and get them to get really top of name consciousness, you need 7 hours of content, 11 touches in 4 locations. So 7 hours of content is anything from a video to a postcard to a newsletter to a phone call to a anything that you put out that a newspaper ad is would fall into that category. 11 touches means that 11 times, this is the average. It takes about 11 times. So, for example, if you were calling expireds or FISBOs and you don't get them on the first try, 90% of agents are going to just do that one call. But the agents that continue those calls and that they do it 9, 10, 11, 12 times, they keep reaching out to those folks. Those are the ones that get the listing. And then 4 locations. So this touches on the 4 different locations. We're doing social media, direct mail, newsletter, and phone prospecting. So that's 4 different locations. It also falls into, if I have content on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. So we want to have this omni-channel sequence. And the omni-channel sequence lets you stagger the marketing across the 4 mediums so you feel omnipresent to the homeowner. So here's the framework for the messaging, because it's the messaging that's the most important thing you need to do. So the messaging framework includes a hook, a pain point, a story, and a call to action. So what do I mean by a hook? A hook is something that grabs immediate attention. If you're on your phone and you're sitting there and you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you're going like this, and then all of a sudden something catches your attention, that's a hook, right? That means that whatever that person did, they created something specifically to attract you. So they want to capture your attention. And if that stopped you, this is something you should do, is if you're going through social media, if you're looking at Facebook or looking at Instagram, TikTok, whatever makes you stop and listen, you should make note of it. Why did you stop on that? Why did you continue to listen? Did you listen to the whole thing, or did you listen only to the first couple of seconds? Right? And just make note why that happened, and you will see a pattern. The pattern will be what is your hook or the things that hook you. So the pain point doesn't necessarily mean you're twisting somebody's arm. Okay. We're not talking about physical pain here, right? We're talking about something that person either may or encounter, has on their mind as a potential problem, or is something that they want or desire. So, for example, they want to move near their grandkids, which is both a pain point and a desire, or information that would be important to them. So, for example, spalling, concrete spalling, or how, what's the best way to stage your house to get the maximum profit? What things can you do to your house that actually bring a return on investment or increase the sale value of the property? What are the best things you could do, to fix up your property and, maybe make 10 or 20 or $30,000 more. And then is the story, right? So this is how you integrate that problem and how you solved it using and eliminated that pain point. And then the call to action is giving them something easy to do so that they will interact with you. It could be offering a report. It could be, watch this video for more information. It could be contact me to get a home valuation. So there's a lot of different ways that you can have a call to action. You just need to make it easy, right? Click here, DM me, scan this QR code. Those kind of things are the things that you need to make it easy. It's a low friction contact. So we're going to look at some real world examples real quick. So here you could see this is a real estate agent actually on Instagram. and she's really funny. But you can see what her pain point is, or what she's trying to contact or reach out to, or people, having a problem moving, right? So you've sold you sold your house, and now you got to move, right? So she's trying to appeal to sellers, and you see that if let's see if we can pull this up real quick. Oh, you know what? Hold on just a second. I'm going to stop the share just for a second. I'm going to restart it because I got to add the sound. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can. Can you guys hear that or no? I can't see you, so somebody's got to speak
Wow.
up.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it. Okay. Try one more time. If not, we'll just move on to the next thing. Oh, do I have the sound on here? There it is. Let's try that. Okay, now tell me if you can hear it.
Very important to note, you're going to see yourself in probably a couple of these at least. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to move.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
However, if they're piling up, you have our number. So let's see what is in the wine bucket for today. Oh, that's a good one. All right, our day 10. It's a U, which is unaligned life. Yes. Okay. This one is softer, but a telltale sign. And it is, you haven't added your stamp to your current house. That might mean you have art that you intended to put up but never did. There isn't a family photo in sight.
Okay, so that kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of what she's trying to do. So she's being very personal and using, if you notice that she's using a kind of feng shui type presentation. So she's appealing to people who have maybe an art thing, but she's using a little humor to do the hook. Humor is the hook. Here's another one real quick.
Welcome to La Camora, one of Broomfield's most desirable neighborhoods. Conveniently located off of Highway 36 and 287, giving you easy access to Denver, Boulder, and the foothills.
Okay, so she comes onto the video. First of all, trying to capture your attention by saying, hey, there's the best neighborhood in Broomfield, Colorado, right? And if you notice in the description here, she doesn't talk about the house at all. What is she talking about? She's talking about the location, the lifestyle of that community, right? So so she's appealing to those who are looking for a specific lifestyle or a status, in trying to appeal to that status or that lifestyle by focusing on just the lifestyle of the area and not really focusing on the house. The house, she didn't mention any bedrooms, the square footage. She didn't mention anything about the price or anything like that, right? She's just talking about the house. So that's where you get a better, she's appealing to that buyer or that person. Unfortunately, this one's not working anymore. So, but here's a little bit. If you look at here, he actually makes a breakdown of who the target is. So here it's people choosing between similar agents, right? And here's the hook: how we run a listing like a launch. So not about, hey, we're so great, we're number one, we sell all these houses, right? I'm appealing to your need to get your property sold. So this is how we run a listing like a launch. You get a plan, you get a timeline, you get a proactive updates, you get, but his hook is interest rates are on the rise, which means you need to sell your home now. So his hook is, hey, you fear of missing out, right? Fear of missing out. FOMO. I want, you need to sell now because higher interest rates can lower your price. But he's clarified who his target is. So those are just some examples of what we're trying to get across. So creating a message that works doesn't have to be hard. You look at it like a 3-step ladder. One is the hook. You need to say something that makes them stop, or something that uses a big number, or something that is local to them, right? So if I'm putting out information, and let's just say I'm going to do Old Town, just off the top of my head. So I want to put those words. If you have a house on XYZ Street in Old Town, this is something you may be missing, or this is something you may need to know. So that's appealing specifically to those people who live on that street in that neighborhood. Tell a short story. It doesn't have to be long. A lot of them times you could do it 2, 3, 4 sentences. That's it. You don't say I'm great. You say I helped the family down on Smith Street. This shows you know what you're doing rather than sounding off. The offer is tell them exactly what to do next. That's the call to action. So you got to tell. If you don't tell people what to do, they won't do anything, especially online. Okay, if you're going to do anything online, if you're going to do any kind of social media, if you're going to do YouTube, you're going to do Facebook, whatever, you got to tell people what to do. But here's the important thing is to make sure only tell them to do one thing. Don't tell them to do 4 things, right? Tell them to do one thing. So if it's, don't ask them to list their house yet, just ask them to get the report or get the checklist, or here's my phone number, or DM me for more information. You want to tell them to do one thing. So that's it. That's all you need for the messaging. But the messaging, to make it easy for you, is I've made this little template for you so that you can utilize this to clarify your messaging and see if that it's going to be the type that you need to be hyper local and targeted toward a specific audience. So if you want to do it manually and just do it by hand, here's a template for that of what you need to do. Or you could take this prompt right here and drop it into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you're using for AI, and just insert the areas where those bold letters are, and tell it what you want the offer to do, what you want them to do at the end. I have done lots of trainings on how to do like market updates more effectively, and utilizing postcards as well in previous trainings. They're available on the YouTube channel. Make sure that you go check it out. So you have 2 options in when you're doing the newsletter. We're going to get into the newsletter. So there's 2 print opportunities, 2 print opportunities. The reason we're dropping mail twice is to reinforce that message. So if you look on the left, by the way, all of these were all created with AI. So using, obviously having to work the prompt. But if I'm targeting somebody on the waterfront, I might want to use a statement that's going to be specific to them. Right. So here you can see something shifted while you were at the sandbar, right? That's something very common to people like that. And then the numbers are talking, and here's where you would put what the current inventory is, what's sold, and what's the days on market. So here, scan for my silent shift data and my 6 to 12 month outlook, right? And QR code, making it real easy so they can look at that postcard and boom, they can get my information. I get their information, because they need to give me their name and email address in order to get that information. And here's a little bit of detail, not overly killing it, just enough for that to make them interested, and then send it out. Right now, the newsletter backs up what I just did in here. So in the newsletter, what I want it to do is to do the same thing. I want it to relate that same information in a little more detail. Plus, I'm going to add some things in there that will, and actually I'll give you a better look at what these look like. I'm going to add some things in there that would be of interest to them. So I used Gemini to create this. Is a newsletter exclusive to people who live in high-end luxury waterfront homes, right? So this newsletter is targeted toward them. And all I have to do is insert where these things are. I just put that into the chat, and it tells me, and I tell that what I want. I tell it what neighborhood I want to focus on, and it will pull the information for me for that specific neighborhood. This is something. This is for other homes, maybe in the lower end, so that I have a different feel, right? A different approach. It doesn't look super high end. You know, what's funny is when I was a marketing director at Sotheby's, that a lot of agents were worried that they couldn't take lower end listings. I couldn't. They couldn't get $400,000 listings or $300,000 listings because the impression was that it was geared towards higher end listings, and that's just not true, right? There's they have $100,000 listings in there, so but you need to appeal to what parts of your marketing is going to work for that audience. So you want to adjust the marketing to who you're targeting by the neighborhood or by the demographics of that neighborhood. So as we go forward, there are some metrics that we need to track when we do the newsletter, because if you're just dropping mail and saying, "Oh, well, this will work," and you're not tracking the results that you're getting, you're really just throwing money away, right? You're spending money on stuff that you don't know if it's even having an effect. You may get a good response one time and then not another, but you keep doing it. And what we're trying to do is to make this much more efficient and economical for you, so that you can target your audience and get a higher response than you could before. That's why the messaging is important. So number one metric is the local relevance rate, right? Is the percentage of the newsletter feel specific to that neighborhood? Is it appealing specifically to those people? Is it something that they would be interested in? Is it something that's important to them? And when they pick it up, does it look like, hey, this looks like it was made specifically for me, right? That's the feel that you want to get. What's the engagement rate? How often do people respond? Did they scan the QR code? Did they enter the trivia contest, or did they otherwise interact with the newsletter? And there's parts that we're going to talk about that make that important. Number three is a call to action response rate. So we want to know how many people actually took action and how many requested specifically. Was it a market update? Was it an opt-in? Was it where am I falling into that category of responses? And next, we have top of mind relationship strength. So when you make your phone calls, when you're doing prospecting in that neighborhood, are you getting a better response? Are people more warm to you? Are you getting easier conversations? Because that's the goal, is get those easier conversations. And then obviously conversion is the number one thing. Are they converting into appointments, listings, and sales? So those are the 5 things you should track. And of course, I'm going to provide you with a tracking sheet to do that. So don't worry, I've got all the parts ready for you. So next is the parts, right? So the successful hyper-local newsletter should do 5 things well. 1, it should feel local. It should get engagement. It should drive action. It should build familiarity and create real estate conversations. That is the goal. Okay, don't laugh, right? So this is an old newsletter from, I think it was 02, 03, volume 4. So that was the 4th year I was using it. So it had to be 03. So this is an old newsletter that I used to send out. And this was year 4. So at the time I was probably sending out about 4,000 or 5,000 of these a month. But I started with a small 500 home area in Plantation in Broward County. And then I built it out from there. So it's, you can see looks a little old because it's from back then. It was printed on regular 1114 by paper. Some of you may have used this service before. It was called Service for Life. And what they used to do is give you a template, and then you had to they'd put in some of these stories in here, but then you'd have to put in the rest, right? So I would pick, what cartoon I wanted, if and how, what else could I put in here that would be personal to me. But I want you to notice, first of all, there are multiple opportunities here for the reader to engage. So right off the top, you could see right here, it says see my insert for details, because I used to do an insert, and that's on the bottom. And then if you look down at the bottom, it says get free money saving strategy home tips at the website. And then when we're going through it, some of the other stuff, these are actually, that cleaning tip was something that my handyman gave me, so I put that in there. And then here's my people that I worked with for that month, or maybe my agents worked with that month, that thought of me, that sent referrals to us. So all these people sent us referrals in that month. And then we had, are you my client of the month? And that was where I would tell a story about a specific client that I worked with. And this particular guy, yeah, he was the guy from DHL. He was vice president of DHL for the United States, and I helped him get a house. And then down here, so we're putting in testimonials, right, is the whole idea. So if the other parts are, if we go down a little bit, so the auto insurance was actually given to me from a guy that was advertising on the newspaper. But down here, you can see I'm putting in a testimonial. And then here I'm offering a $250 gift certificate. We used to run a trivia contest wasn't every month. So one month I would do a trivia contest. The next month we would do like a crossword thing. So we would have a lot of fun with that. And it would prompt people because they would have to contact me and call me in order to get the gift certificate. So, and then you'd have a couple of questions. So this is the answer to last week's question. This is the answer. This is the new one for the next month coming up. And then down here, it's got my name here as well. So you have my contact information. And if you want more information about, here's the Broward Home Market Watch. So you can see the number of homes sold. And then again, asking if you want a free analysis of your home, get my consumer guide. And then I had the advertising guys on the back. So, and then there was a disclaimer, but the disclaimer also said here, if you notice, names and services are offered so you can take advantage of special discounts they have pledged to offer my clients and friends. So it was something that came from me. I wanted it to come from me and be special, make them feel like they're different, special, and unique as my clients. So there were multiple opportunities here for these people to reach out to me. I gave them different ways of trying to reach out and engage in one newsletter. So this is the different posts that you can do. This is a social media post. Is the market shifting? But I'm using the neighborhood, right? Get the tide report is officially out, right? Get it, why seawall health is the new curb appeal. Things of that nature that would work within the same group. So here's the vibe check plus a secret giveaway. This is an email that I could send out. And then down here, I'm showing you customization for an actual newsletter if you wanted to create a newsletter by hand. So you could take this stuff, copy it, and use it put it into Canva and make your own newsletter. But you don't have to do that, right? I have the master prompts for you to be able to create these newsletters using AI and do it really quickly. So where are we at? Okay. Go back to here. So before you send your newsletter out, ask yourself these questions and really think about it. If you answer to two or more of these that not really, then you need to update the newsletter. And here again are some ideas that of messaging, so that would appeal to them, and talk about their needs and what they want, and not so much about you. Your establishing authority is by showing that you have the solution to their problem, right? That's how you establish authority. Once you get past a certain point in your career, then that message starts to change. But when you're getting started, or if you're trying to expand into an area where people don't know you that well, you need to address what's important to them first. So I've got 12 different ones on here. Also, there will be, all right, so this is a web page that I'm working on. This will be posted up, where you can actually access it, and it's a little interactive. Here you can get these, and you can sort them by different types of uh, messages. I'll add more as the time goes on. But this web page will be available to you shortly, so you'll have that. This whole system will also be in here as well, and then you can click on these different things to focus in on just one area if you want to work on it in more in depth. It's not necessary. I'm just offering it as a convenience to you guys. Okay, so I used in this scenario, I used ChatGPT to help me create the actual prompt to start with, and be able to create the newsletter. And then I used Gemini to actually create the newsletter. So I took the prompt here that I showed you guys, and this is the entire prompt. Starts here, and it goes all the way down here. So those are the prompts. So you would just take this entire prompt. Now you'll notice in here, you can see that there are brackets. In the brackets is where you put in your information. Now I'm going to make it even easier for you, because all you have to do is utilize a placeholders right here. And then you can just take these placeholders and just tell it, hey, I just need you to replace this with this. That's all you got to do. So once you have it set up for the first try, the first go around, then you can you could just add that, right? And here you could use these details in order to update your information. So once you have the prompt in there, you can keep that one prompt, and then each month you just go back and just do this part here and just tell it to update that system. So it makes it easy for you to do this. But you would just take the prompt, you would put it into your AI, whichever AI you want to use. This is not prompted, right? So it's not specific. And you can see I left it as insert neighborhood. Right. So here it's creating the newsletter for me. Because I didn't give it a specific neighborhood, it's creating just some generic information for me, because I told it I wanted it. The only thing I think I told it is to make it Florida Keys specific. So I actually have to give it a place, a neighborhood, in order for it to be do a nice newsletter for a specific neighborhood, right? And it's going to create that all out, right? So now what I would do is in Gemini has a nice feature that I can go in here, and also you can do this in ChatGPT, but Gemini has a nice feature in here where I can go to it's called Canvas, right? So I go down here to Tools, I go to Canvas, and I tell it, take this newsletter and create. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's it. Take this information and create a newsletter. That's it. So this is creating a text version of the newsletter for me. Now, once that's done, I go over here and see where it says create, and you can see it says web page. So I'm going to create a web page. And what Canvas will do within Gemini, not Canva, Canvas will do within Gemini, is it will start to create a web page for this information. So this does take a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, while it's doing that, I'm going to let this go ahead and work. We're going to go jump ahead back here. But here are the some of the messages that we talked about. So you can use AI to make it easy. That makes the process way faster. It makes it much more consistent. And you got to give a neighborhood name, the month, a few local details, any market stats that you have, and a main theme you want to cover for that month. Now, again, the key is that each month you stick with one theme. So if you're talking about market value or market stats, you do it on the postcard, you do it in the social media, you do it on the newsletter, and you do that with your phone call prospecting follow-up, right? Hey, did you get my report on XYZ? Oh, can you tell me was it helpful to you? Or is that information that you find valuable, right? And then you use it, draft the newsletter sections, create stronger headlines. And then it's especially helpful for taking one basic idea into a full newsletter. So again, we're keeping everything focused, one thing for that area. And then you got to treat it like a writing partner, right? You don't just let it do it all for you. You got to read what comes out. You got to look at, and improve it and tell it if you want changes or improvements. Then once you have it down pat and you've got exactly what you want, the design that you want, then it makes it easy because now all you have to do is hit play and repeat, right? So let's go back over here. All right, so here you can see that it created this report, and I can, it gives me some graphs, and these are all fake because it knows that I didn't put any stats in there, right? But it creates these nice graphics, and I can tell it what I want. So if I didn't like this, and I'm not going to do it now, but if I didn't like this design, I could just go over here and tell it, hey, I want the background to be lighter, or I want different colors, or I want more graphics added to it. And it will do that for you. And then all I need to do from here, and actually, you can see this is the code that it generates right here, right? All I need to do from here, and it may seem technical, but it's not. I'm going to go start here. I'm going to go down to the bottom, hit shift, copy. We go right into Notepad. And do that. And then I got to do this. This is important. You got to take File, Save As. And then what you want to do is change this to all files. And I'm just going to name it Test Newsletter. And then I'm going to put the extension .html. HTML. So I'm going to put that right there. Save it. Okay, so now I go in here, and there's my file. Boom. There it is. No coding. Didn't have to know anything. Just had to do this. And you can see that, and there's these live links. So I can send this as a link to an email. I can use it, or I can take this and turn it into a print version as well, right? So this is makes life so much easier, but this is a great little way to increase your visibility. And by focusing on all the four pillars, you're focusing in on the omni-channel marketing presence. And reinforcement is what makes this work, right? Reinforcing it. So here's all the steps if you want to do what I just said. And then again, just if you make one master narrative script, that's all you need to do. And then once per month, you just use the little update on there, and you're done. It literally this once you filled in this information, and some of this you don't need to keep refilling because you know your name, your phone number, and all that stuff. So you really just need to put in the local market stats and what's specific. So there's about 5 or 6 things that you need to put in, and that's it. You're done. You have a great little newsletter there that you can do. So once you get that done, then all you have to do is just rinse and repeat, right? Just make the drops, make the calls, start the loop, and then make sure to track your results. Okay, so that's this system for this week. Next week, I'm sorry, next session will be on April 2nd. And I'm going to walk you through how to use the new Canva Pro that is available to you through CB Desk in CB Desk. So I'm going to walk you through that process so that you can utilize some of the Coldwell Banker branded marketing stuff that's there, and how to modify it so that it has our information on there, our logo, and your contact information, and how you can use that to help keep your presence out there. Remember, practice beats procrastination. Of course, I will have all of the handouts will go out to you in the email that Steve sends out. A copy of this will be on the YouTube channel, and you can always reach out to me if you need help. Okay. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Was this of any help?
Good job, Frank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
It sounds
is there-
simple when you're talking, and then it's like, I don't know, it feels overwhelming too.
what's the overwhelming part? Talk to me, Annalise.
I don't know. It just seems like, I guess it's just the getting into the whole computer end of it and finding everything and the choosing AI and all that stuff.
You don't
Much-
have to. That's why I gave you 2 options. There's a manual option and an AI option. The AI option makes it faster. So I can get done in 5 minutes what would have taken me hours. It's the same thing. So it's just copy paste. Everything I showed you right here is copy paste.
I know.
You
it's-
don't have to do
Now I
anything.
have to abandon, like I would be abandoning all the stuff I had done,
I don't do
just-
that.
but this
Yeah.
seems like it would be easier, right? In the long run.
So what you don't abandon it. What you do is you transition, right? What you do is you use what you have, you can improve what you have. And then as you go, you can make transitions, right? You can just change it over as time goes on. Change one little part. One of the things that we all do is we try to do everything at once, and that doesn't work. You guys got to take steps. You start with a small part, right? Hey, I want to do social media, but I'm not sure. Well, maybe try just doing some shorts. Do some 30-second, 60-second shorts. Get in front of the camera. I've said all quarter this quarter, practice beats procrastination. And it, if you do it 30 times, you got a 50%, 65% confidence rate. If you do it 150 times, now you have a 95% confidence rate. Go back and, and just look at how you improve. Don't get caught up in that it has to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. It'll never be perfect if you do that. You will just keep not doing it and not helping yourself. So focus on that part. Just hey, let me do something instead of doing nothing. Let me get out there. But the world is, this AI stuff, this is like the industrial revolution. It's like it's the technological revolution. It's when computers went into houses. It's when Ford created the assembly line. It's when, Edison discovered electric, not that electric, lights, light bulb. It's that kind of moment. And so this is something that's coming whether you like it or not. So learning how to use it to your advantage is the best thing. And I'm here to help you. So if you need the help, you let me know. But don't go crazy. If you have something in place, use it, then move on. If you want, you may choose not to, right? You may not, you may say, no, I'm good with what I have, but at least do the cycle. Drop the postcard, do the social media, do the newsletter, make the phone calls. Because the bottom line is when it does, all of this comes together because you're doing that phone prospecting, and it makes it easier, and it allows people to be more warm, receptive to you by doing these things because they become familiar. They start to like you. They start to know you, and then they start to trust you by the information that you're providing. Trust me, I went from 500 to over 5,000 in farm area using this exact same method. Exactly. So quick story, not to boost my own little ego. Okay. But when I started at Remax, I had one sale to my name, right? One sale to my name. When I put in this system and started started using omni-channel marketing, I went from nothing to being the number one agent in a 550 agent firm, okay, to being in the top 100 of Remax, okay, in 18 months. In 18 months. So it was just understanding that repetition. That's the key, consistency and repetition. Once I got past that part, that was the key that made it happen. All right. So take it for hopefully I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you got some information out of it. And if you need help or you'd like to do something more, just reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Great information as always. Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, great info, Frank. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice.
You're very welcome. You guys have a great day. And
Thank you.
Frank.
go out there and get them.
Thank you, Frank.
Bye, everybody.